But just so you know, you have done a decent job. Anytime you're ready, huh?
Alright. I did mining. Okay, so the mining really started in California in 1848, and the California Rush, and that was when, we talked about this earlier in the year, but the Chinese, and they all came in, and then they got banned from coming into the United States because there's so many of them. Yeah, and they came here for the mining, for the gold. The many different precious metal strikes in Colorado, starting in 1858. In Nevada, there were a lot of them. In Idaho, and the Black Hills. They were all over, like everywhere, and that really like made the West like kind of how it is today, like it developed it. And in 1862, the Homestead Act, that was big, I'm going to talk about that later. And the 8-hour law, which was really important, in 1868. And the Mining Act of 1872. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so it impacted the West because, not only because the mining helped the economy, because more resources, it also helped develop the West as a community and kind of as like its own little nation, kind of, because the people themselves brought wealth, even more so than the resources that were there. So these are the minerals, not all of them, but these are the biggest ones. Gold and silver were mostly in the West. Copper and iron were Midwest. They're kind of both. And coal was a lot in the East. It was everywhere, but Pennsylvania was one of the biggest places. Okay, so the conditions for labor were really, really bad. Like, in the coal mines were really bad, and they weren't paid very well, and it was really dangerous. It was really hard work, but they barely made any money, so oftentimes the whole entire family would have to join in on the work, so they would all become miners, like all the children would be too. And it's really dangerous because there's, it could collapse on you while you're mining, which happens pretty often, pretty frequently. And also there's lots of poisonous gases that come from mining, and flammable gases, so things that you don't even know are there, and then you die from them. Bad. And also along the lines of labor, the 8-hour law, which prohibited people from working more than 8 hours, which is a big step because it made it easier on people because they didn't have to work all day and all night to get what they had. The Mining Act of 1872, it gave people the freedom to mine on public land. So if they were to pick a mineral, I think it says that they'd have to claim a mineral, and then they could say how they were going to do it, and they could bring in their own equipment and start mining for it on public land. But what it didn't do was it didn't say, to the people, it didn't say what was inappropriate for them to do, things that they weren't allowed to do, and it didn't tell them about cleaning up or restoring their site after they were done with it, and there's nothing about financial responsibilities with the government either. And this was also in direct contact with the Homestead Act. So there was, like, over the course of the Homestead Act, like, what it did was it sold land to people. People could get 160 acres for like $1.25 an acre. And throughout this process, they gave out like 80 million acres of land to people, which is a lot. And it affects mining because once people buy all that land, all that there was really to do out there was to just mine. So a lot of people made their own mining, and then the land just got torn up, and yeah, so. But it also said that people would have to wait 6 or 5 years until they were allowed to get their share of this act. So, like, they would be a resident for 5 consecutive years, and then they would get the land, or they could start buying it after 6 months. So that's how the government made money. There are a lot of strikes. The first one was a really big strike of the Pennsylvania coal miners. They wanted better conditions and more money, and they threatened to just stop working and make a coal famine, so there would just be no more coal. And then another big one is the Tennessee strike, where the prison in Tennessee started having their convicts do mining, and the people didn't like that because they were taking all their jobs and they were working like as much or as many hours as just normal people. So people wanted them to stop doing that, so they did. That's it.
Okay.